Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest, where we help you to absorb powerful, life-changing insights from top wellness experts with our daily bite-sized wellness podcast summaries. Each episode is packed with distilled, powerful takeaways to boost your health and well-being. To support this podcast, please scroll down on whatever app you're listening. Ratings and reviews are helpful. Even better, just send the show to a friend. Check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page, or simply click the Support the Show link below the episode description.
Sexual health. It's a topic that makes most people squirm. But what if I told you it's actually a window into your overall well-being? Today, we're peeling back the curtain on this often taboo subject.
Oh, that's an intriguing way to look at it. I'm curious to hear more about how sexual health connects to our general health.
Well, it's fascinating, really. Take erectile dysfunction, for example. It's not just a bedroom issue. It can actually be an early warning sign for cardiovascular problems. The blood vessels in our genitals are smaller than those in other parts of the body, so they can show signs of trouble before more significant issues arise.
Wow, I had no idea. That really puts things in a different perspective. Are there similar indicators for women's health?
Absolutely. Women might experience reduced arousal or lubrication, which could be linked to hormonal changes or stress. These aren't just inconveniences. They're important signals from our bodies. For instance, a sudden change in libido could be related to thyroid issues or other hormonal imbalances.
It sounds like paying attention to our sexual health could potentially save lives. But why do you think this information isn't more widely known?
Well, there's still a lot of stigma and discomfort around discussing sexual health openly. Many people feel embarrassed or ashamed to bring up these issues, even with their doctors. That's where experts like Dr. Rena Malik come in. She's a board-certified urologist who's made it her mission to bridge this knowledge gap.
Oh, tell me more about Dr. Malik. What inspired her to focus on this area?
So, Dr. Malik noticed a significant gap in sexual health education during her time in medical school. She saw how many people were struggling with these issues in silence and decided to do something about it. She started creating content addressing common questions and misconceptions about sexual health, and it's resonated with millions of viewers.
That's incredible. It really shows how hungry people are for accurate information on these topics. What kind of approach does Dr. Malik take?
Well, what I found most intriguing about Dr. Malik's approach is how she emphasizes the biopsychosocial context of sexual health. It's not just about the physical aspects. It's this intricate dance between our biology, psychology, and social factors. It's like a complex ecosystem within our bodies and minds.
That's such an interesting way to look at it. Can you give an example of how these factors might interplay?
Sure thing. Think of it this way. Sexual dysfunction can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression, which in turn can exacerbate the sexual problems. It's like a feedback loop that can be hard to break without understanding the full picture. For instance, a person experiencing erectile dysfunction might become anxious about their performance, which can then make it even harder to maintain an erection. It's a vicious cycle.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about treating the physical symptoms, but also addressing the psychological and social aspects as well. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And you know what's really interesting? Dr. Malik points out that about 80 to 85% of women require clitoral stimulation to achieve orgasm. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle that's often overlooked in traditional sex ed. The clitoris is actually much larger than what we see externally. It's like an iceberg with most of it hidden beneath the surface.
Well, that's certainly not something they taught us in health class. It really highlights the need for comprehensive sexual education, doesn't it? Not just for young people, but for adults too.
You're absolutely right. There's always more to learn about our bodies and how they work. And it's not just about pleasure, though that's certainly important. Understanding our bodies can help us identify when something's not quite right and seek help when we need it.
Speaking of seeking help, I was intrigued by some of the innovative treatments you mentioned earlier for issues like erectile dysfunction. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, sure. One treatment that's gaining attention is shockwave therapy. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But it's a real treatment that focuses on improving blood flow, and vascular health. Essentially, it uses low-intensity shock waves to stimulate the growth of new blood vessels in the penis.
That's fascinating. Is it effective?
Well, the jury's still out on its long-term effectiveness, but early results are promising. However, Dr. Malik emphasizes that these treatments should be seen as complementary to lifestyle changes, not replacements. Maintaining good sexual health is really about overall health. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient sleep, these are all crucial factors.
That makes sense. It's all interconnected, isn't it? Our sexual health isn't separate from the rest of our well-being.
Exactly. And that's really the key takeaway here. By prioritizing sexual health education and open communication, we're not just improving our sex lives, we're improving our overall well-being. It's about creating a culture where it's okay to talk about these issues without shame or embarrassment.
You know, this conversation has really opened my eyes to how complex and important sexual health is. It's not just about what happens in the bedroom. It's about our overall quality of life.
Couldn't agree more. And let's not forget, a healthy sex life has been linked to numerous health benefits, from improved cardiovascular health to better sleep and reduced stress levels. It's all part of the bigger picture of our health.
So what do you think is the biggest obstacle we face in improving sexual health awareness?
That's a great question. I'd say one of the biggest hurdles is still the stigma and discomfort around discussing sexual health openly. Many people feel embarrassed or ashamed to bring up these issues, even with their doctors. We need to work on destigmatizing these conversations, starting from a young age.
That makes sense. How do you think we can start to address that?
Well, it's going to take a multifaceted approach. We need to incorporate age-appropriate sexual health education into school curricula. We also need to train healthcare providers to be more comfortable discussing these issues with their patients. And we need to support and amplify voices like Dr. Malik's, who are providing accurate, accessible information to the public.
Those are great points. Is there one thing our listeners could do today to start making a difference?
Absolutely. I think one of the most powerful things we can do is simply start having these conversations. Talk to your partner about your sexual health and well-being. If you're a parent, make sure you're providing age-appropriate information to your children. And most importantly, don't be afraid to seek help if you have concerns about your sexual health. Remember, it's a crucial part of your overall well-being.
That's excellent advice. It's about time we brought these conversations out of the shadows and into the light. After all, sexual health is just health, plain and simple.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time we wrap up this episode. Remember, folks, your sexual health matters, and it's okay to talk about it, ask questions, and seek help when you need it. It's not just about improving your sex life, it's about improving your overall quality of life.
Thanks for joining us for this important conversation. Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and keep talking.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Lab Digest. If you have received value from the podcast, I have 3 asks of you. 1, share the show with your friends and send them a link to the show. 2, please leave a rating and review in whatever app you're listening. And last but not least, please let me know what topics you would like us to cover in the future. You can contact me by sending me a message using the Send Us a Text link below the episode description.